My name is Mayor Watt. I run ohmTown. ohmTown is right there. That's a website that aggregates news, throws it into 6 different categories: create news, education, entertainment, social, and technology. If you've gone there lately, you've actually seen a couple of, well, not a couple, more than a couple duplicates. And I'm working on the engine that drives this town. And trying to iron out some of the bugs that I'm finding. They weren't there a couple of weeks ago, and now they're there. So I'm trying to figure it all out. Again, I'm a one-person show, so bear with these, potholes. That said, I'm going to get into this show. I run the show from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern every day. Rain or shine, as long as the technology allows me to do it, I'll keep on doing it. The very first article, and we'll just get right into this. I'm going to pull my chat down here so that I can see if anybody asks any questions or makes any comments. The very first article is in the Smack Talk channel. It's aggregated from Apple Insider, and it's titled Apple Pay Unavailable in Russia After US and EU Imposed Sanctions. As the Ukraine, let me flip that. As the Russian-Ukraine conflict continues, sanctions, policy, and procedure are going into effect to limit access typically to assets, resources, sending materials to Russia specifically, while others are sending resources to Ukraine so that it can defend itself against these incursions. Basically, to breakaway regions within Ukraine, which, as far as everybody was concerned, weren't breakaway, are being acknowledged as breakaway by Russia and then embraced, I guess, by Russia. So we'll see what the continuation of this event signals for that region of the world. But I don't get into the conflict side of things. There isn't much that I can say or do on the matter other than it is a sad time for Ukraine that they have to deal with this. And the people that can assist have limitations in what can be done, considering what Russia is. But I'm going to move on from this. So Apple Pay is unavailable in Russia after US and EU imposed sanctions. It's an article written by Amber Neely over at Apple Insider. Basically what it comes down to is that there are controls being put in place so that people cannot fund or process things through various banks and various regions. And this article says the Russian invasion of Ukraine has sparked a quote-unquote black swan event in the stock market and a sell-off of Apple, other big tech stocks, and Bitcoin. And continues to say, furthermore, if the United States government forbids any hardware or software sales to Russia, it will impact any company that does business in that country. For example, Apple wouldn't be able to sell the iPhone. Yes, very true. So as long as sanctions are in place, everybody is going to be feeling it. Not just Russia, but the various people within Russia, the various people within Ukraine, the various people around the world that do business, have family, everything. This isn't just an isolated event. It's pulling everybody into it. This isn't just a tiny little regional spark of unrest. And there is U.S. history here with former presidencies and current now, with people wondering about why $400 million was withheld in one presidency, but granted in another, but after the fact, after the event has already been underway. Anyway, sad day, sad time. Let's keep going. The next article is in Smack Talk. I forgot to post the link, so I'm going to post the link. The next article is in Smack Talk. One second, I'm sorry. Sorry for the dead air. I'm trying to fix a workflow problem. Okay, so the next article is in the Smack Talk channel. It's sourced by Apple Insider as well. Hypermedia USB-C hub review. Ports and physical playback controls arrive on iPad. So it says Hyper makes a wide array of USB-C hubs for Mac and iPad, but this one is the first that they've tried that has physical media controls built in alongside a plethora of ports. Let's click this link and take a look at it. Seems pretty tiny, but has physical controls on it. Andrew O'Hara of Apple Insider wrote this article, and it says, aptly named the Hypermedia USB-C hub. It's an aluminum device, which is great. I don't like plastic for every single thing that attaches to every other thing that's made of plastic. Even though it has expanded functionality, it carries the same price tag as Hyper's standard 6-in-1 USB-C hub. So those who want these physical controls can get it for no extra cash. But it plugs into a little USB-C connector on the side of your computer. And then you've got ports and actual physical buttons. What do you think of that? Do you want buttons on your device? Will that facilitate something? Matches kind of the sharp-edged aluminum framing of the iPad and MacBook, the current generations of Apple devices that don't really have a beveled edge, and fits right in. You know, the color isn't necessarily right on target, but the ability to attach multiple devices to your iPad, or anything really with a USB-C port, expands its functionality greatly. So I'm always for it. In fact, one of the things that I tell people is that you can't have enough ports, because you just never know what else you're going to be attaching to it. I've actually ramped up the number of ports on my desktop and then taken them away as I ebb and flow technology through ohmTown. But give it a shot. Go and take a look at it. You can always go over to Apple Insider and take a look at it. You can follow the link that's in chat. Scrolling down just to find out where it lands in the price. It says you can pick up the Hypermedia USB-C hub on Amazon for $99, but it says the original is $80. So it is a little bit more expensive. The 6-in-1 doesn't have the media controls, but it's $20 cheaper. So article said that it wasn't more expensive, but it actually is. But let's continue on. The next article is over in the Mobile channel. Retired SWAT commander acquitted of a fatal shooting of a moviegoer. I included this in today's news simply because of what transpired, where it transpired, and for the life of me, I don't understand it. But I'm going to click this link. Of course, it's a movie theater in Florida, um, which, the internet basically thinks Florida is a meme at this point. But it says Curtis J. Reeves Jr. said he acted in self-defense after a dispute that led a man to toss a bag of popcorn at him in a movie theater, led to him being shot in the chest by this SWAT commander. So I'm going to click this link and take you to the article. This is a New York Times article. The dispute basically is about somebody texting, as far as I know. The person is retired, formerly police, obviously still carrying. And the person says, I've never been encountered by somebody exhibiting that uncontrolled anger or rage and all of the perceptors that you could imagine, whether it's verbal, physical expression. Mr. Reeves testified at his trial. He added, I came to the theater with my family to enjoy a movie, not be attacked by some guy that's out of control. So witnesses and prosecutors describe a different scene. Interesting. So the Navy veteran finance manager at a local motorcycle dealership was on a date with his wife, and their 22-month-old daughter, Alexis, was at the babysitter. And so the mother, as far as I know, texted. That's kind of a normal thing to do if parents are out on a date night and they've got the babysitter at home. Yeah, it's kind of rude to be texting people from a movie theater. That said, I don't think it should ever rise to the point that somebody fires a gun, but they were acquitted. We shall see how the rest of this plays out. As they say here, Mr. Rosenwasser is the attorney that says a man was killed because popcorn was tossed. Yeah. Yep, it's sad. Absolutely. And should never have happened, in my opinion. This article is by Eduardo Medina, New York Times article regarding a retired SWAT commander acquitted of fatal shooting of a movie goer over a tossed bag of popcorn in Florida. The next article is in the Aerith channel, which is a storybook world that if you become a citizen of ohmTown, you get your own little world in the omniverse of Aerith. If you're interested in that kind of thing and you want to write, sign up, make a post in the Aerith channel, go to the Discord, post in there that you want one of the worlds in the Aerith omniverse. This article, though, is talking about another world building type of environment. And that's really what Aerith is all about, is this RPG kind of world building experience, for which many examples exist. But Elden Ring is the latest in the Dark Souls series, sort of. It's not really, but it is. There's so many comparisons and so many people talking about them in the same vein that you pretty much equate one to the other, or I should say one to the other three. What all those lovely stats and character attributes do in Elden Ring and how you can drive them. Let's click this link and see who wrote this. This article, it says it's written by RPG staff. So rpgsite.net is the site that you're going to go to read all of this. But they go into detail about vigor and mind, endurance, strength, dexterity, intelligence, faith, arcane. These elements make up what your character is and how it performs when it's doing battle. I don't think that it plays a role in other aspects of things other than your performance in combat. I don't think that it plays into what you see, how fast you see it, how far you see it. Yeah, it's all really about the combat. And some of the some of the environments in this world that you deal with are simply amazing. And I would say if you're interested in a game that is dark but still beautiful, Elden Ring is really where you want to go. If you've played Dark Souls before, then you'll love this game. If you don't mind dying repeatedly in a game, frustratingly, agonizingly, you'll love this game. I love watching it because I would probably flip this desk out the window because of so many deaths to one boss. But there you have it. Elden Ring is a great game. You should go and check it out. Follow the link so that you can see more about Elden Ring. The next article is Crowdfunding Chronicles Mercury Abbey. Now, I have not clicked this link. There is a campaign underway. It ends March 4th. I didn't even look at it. All I know is that this is a crowdfunding campaign, and I am very interested in crowdfunding campaigns. Their performance, how they go viral, the technology that's involved and has expanded from the beginnings of Kickstarter to where it is now. There was a Kickstarter that I pledged in previously that I spoke about in previous episodes. That's called Above Snakes. That was successful and actually reached several of its stretch goals. Thankfully, it reached the stretch goals that I really wanted. That said, let's take a look at this because I have not seen even one little bit of this. This is an article from rpgfan.com, and it's written by Tina Ola. And it looks like it's kind of a pixely side scroller kind of thing. Again, I haven't seen it other than this still. But I love this kind of stuff like Neo, like Core Keeper, like no, it's not really like that. It's this pixel art kind of thing. And I really dig it. Oh, it even says it right there. A gorgeous pixel art side-scrolling narrative adventure. So I guess my perspective, my take on this is accurate. It looks like it's anthropomorphic canines. I was going to say animals in humanoid form. So anthropomorphic canines is pretty much where it's at. And they have more and more art as you scroll through it. And I can hear voices telling me that this thing is going to appeal to certain people. I'll just put it that way. Mercury Abbey immediately brought the gorgeous pixel art and anthropomorphic characters of Backbone to mind, trading on the latter's gritty cyberpunk noir aesthetic for gothic suspense. If you're interested in this kind of thing, then go and check it out. It's a campaign that's running. You'll be able to follow the link. Looks like it's a Kickstarter campaign. And let me make sure that it is. Yeah, it's a Kickstarter campaign. But go over to RPG Fan, click the link that's in the chat or in the description where it's posted anywhere online, and you'll be able to see it and pledge if you are interested. The next article is The Word in Tech. Valve more than happy to help Microsoft bring PC Game Pass to Steam. I'm sure that this would be great, as long as Steam gets a little piece of that action there. Valve CEO Gabe Newell is open to Microsoft launching its PC Game Pass service on Steam. In an interview with PC Gamer, Newell said Valve has no plans for an Xbox Game Pass competitor, but it would be happy to work with Microsoft to bring PC Game Pass to Steam. I think that would be phenomenal. I would like a unified login for all of my software, where it's not siloed within one person, one organization's there or there or there or there. I just want to be able to access my software and download updates and whatnot. If I can't physically own the software and it's already 100% patched and fixed and done, then I want a single source, whatever it might be, a master login where all of my software is sitting and it automatically reaches out and updates. Oh, hit my microphone. It automatically updates, it logs me in. I can be anywhere and run the software. That's what Steam allows, particularly if I'm using something like NVIDIA, where I can connect the NVIDIA site and on demand play my game via a web browser. It's pretty nice. Let's click this link and see. Tom Warren is the writer for this at The Verge. Valve more than happy to help Microsoft bring PC Game Pass to Steam. I don't think it's something that we think we need to do ourselves, building a subscription service at this time. But for their customers, it's clearly a popular option, and we'd be more than happy to work with them to get that on Steam. That would be amazing for Steam and for Microsoft. Preventing the siloing of functionality. It would open it up to more people who want a single location and not have to hop from one place to another. That's how I am. But go over to The Verge and check it out. You've got the link there in chat. The next article is The Word in Tech. That's where it's housed in the Word in Tech channel. NVIDIA confirms it's investigating an incident, reportedly a cyber attack. NVIDIA is confirming to The Verge, Bloomberg, Reuters, and others that it's investigating an incident hours after The Telegraph reported that the graphics chip-making giant had experienced a devastating cyber attack that completely compromised the company's internal systems over the past 2 days. So we'll click the link. We take you over to The Verge, which apparently won an award. National award for Best Magazine, I think it is. Sean Hollister wrote this article. There's nothing yet linking it to the Russia-Ukraine conflict. At least not yet. We're investigating an incident. Our business and commercial activities continue uninterrupted. Well, we're not getting more video cards, it seems. We are still working to evaluate the nature and scope of the event and don't have any additional information to share at this time, reads a statement via NVIDIA spokesman Hector Marinez. You can find out more. It says added that at the very bottom of the article, added that Bloomberg is now citing a source that the incident was a ransomware attack, which that is rough because it seems rather innocuous at first. But then when the ransomware is actually triggered, it encompasses pretty much everything that a system can see, depending on where it's launched from. That reach can be tremendous. So good luck, NVIDIA. Go over to, you can click the link in chat, but it'll take you over to The Verge once you click the link at the discussion board. The next article is in the Smack Talk channel. It's Apple is one of 4 giants in Berkshire Hathaway's investment portfolio. If you've never heard of Berkshire Hathaway, they are a juggernaut in finance. And depending on which stock you own of Berkshire Hathaway, it's trading somewhere in the hundred thousands of dollars per share. So let me see real quick. So Berkshire Hathaway Series A stock is currently trading at $481,225 a share. Now, there's not a lot of shares, but when I first saw Berkshire Hathaway 15 years ago, 20 years ago, probably 20 years ago, when they landed on my radar, their shares were at 185. Might have been longer than that. So yeah, it's been a while, but at any rate, tremendous increase, but not everybody can throw around that kind of money. So obviously I didn't take advantage of $180,000 a share stock. Let's click this link. Takes us over to Apple Insider and has the Oracle of Omaha sitting on the front as the landing for this Malcolm Owen article titled Apple, One of Four Giants in Berkshire Hathaway's Investment Portfolio. Warren Buffett is closely affiliated with Berkshire Hathaway's ownership of part of Apple and is a great admirer of the tech giant. That's what the article says. In an annual letter to Berkshire shareholders, Buffett again praises Apple as well as CEO Tim Cook. So, described as our runner-up giant by Buffett, as measured by its year-end market value, Apple is a different sort of holding for Berkshire Hathaway, at least in terms of its so-called four giants. Interesting. I have not read this. So, for Apple specifically, 907 million shares cost Berkshire approximately $31 billion to acquire over time, but has a market value of $161.2 billion. In effect, Apple makes up over 45% of the total equity investment value for the company. Interesting. So I scanned real quick what the others are, but maybe I can find out what the rest of the four giants are. It only talks about Apple as far as I can see. But go over to Apple Insider, click that link and go over to Apple Insider and you'll see for yourself what the article actually entails in its entirety. The next article changes kind of direction to the maker side. Charming pendants. These are products that are made by a person who's just interested in making jewelry. It's not the kind of commercial production that you would find in a broad array of retail stores. It says here, we have access today to so many wonderful charms for our jewelry. We can dress up just about anything. So I'm gonna click this link. It landed, this article was placed in the Jewel Crafting channel, which focuses on makers making jewelry of all kinds. And this is the first time I'm looking at this. So it's quite interesting what people make. Literally, they're just sitting at home or they start up a shop and they are making it there and then selling it online, like on Etsy or other online stores. It says here, we have access today to so many wonderful charms for our jewelry. And this one has, looks like a cross with a stone behind it. I'm not exactly sure which kind of stone it is. It could be agate of some kind, but it's polished and shiny. Another one, and that one is silver. It has a silver cross. And the next one is green. It looks like it's glass, tumbled glass, and has a silver charm on it and with some wire work. It's pretty neat stuff. I mean, this little butterfly with some wire work sitting on a cross again, and an elephant sitting on a tumbled stone. Looks like of the same kind. And they go into greater detail. Green glass is made from broken glass that was fired in their kiln. So this is actually something that you can do. And it takes a lot of creativity and a little bit of energy. But all you have to do is be motivated, and you can actually open up, you can hang your own shingle and start selling your own products right there from your home on various sites. But it opens you up to a lot of competition. So service is pretty much the standout in all of these things. As long as you fulfill it and it's high quality and you have good communication skills, you can succeed as long as you're dedicated to it. But let's move on. This next article. Oh, I didn't say who that last article was from. The last article is by Candy Carlisle for jewelrymakingjournal.com. Okay, this next article is taking the Steam Deck to a bar was a mixed experience. One of the main selling points for the Steam Deck for many is the fact that it's super portable. Super portable. A gaming handheld with the power to play top games wherever you like, Valve has said. But is it really as practical to take to a pub or a bar as we'd like it to be? I would say no. So this article is written over at PCGamer.com. Katie Wickens is the author. Here's what happened when I whipped my deck out in public. Oh, Katie. One of the main selling points, right? So it's ultra portable. There are so many factors that give me anxiety around using a gaming device in public. I'm not worried about public. I'm worried about the pub. How loud is the Steam Deck? If you're in a pub, you're probably not going to hear it. Even sports likers are also gamers today. Maybe it won't be so bad, I reassured myself. There's a couple of pictures of them, I guess, at the pub. I'm not sure how loud or boisterous or how pub-like this environment was. But the corner that they're in doesn't scream pub to me. Maybe if the camera was facing a different direction, it would scream pub. It says, I think my friends felt a bit ignored. Sure, you can pass the Steam Deck around playing Worms or Squeeze In Together for Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons. But it's not really a device that's meant for socializing. No, a computer is not a device. Well, I should say a personal computer, like a tablet or a phone or the deck, is not intended to be a social animal. Not unless you have something that makes it a social animal, like a game that requires multiple people playing in the same environment. But if you're playing an MMO, you're being social. Let's not put constraints around what that social means. You can always say that it's not social because you're not in the same room with somebody. But if you were all at the same table enjoying beer and playing the same game on a computer, Settlers of Catan on a tablet, and everybody is playing from their own tablet in that same environment, right? That's social. As long as you're still talking and goofing around, it's not a big deal to me. But that's a different dynamic. Well, Katie, you did a great job at making me chuckle with that little line. So when you start getting your Steam Decks delivered, let me know how it goes in public. It's a bigger device than your phone. You're going to get some weird looks from people if you're sitting there with 12 people at a pub table and you're the only one that's staring at your deck. The next article is in the Word and Tech channel. What WFH means your boss isn't watching you. Do you think that? Do you think that working from home means your boss isn't watching you? Think again. Thanks to rapid advance in little tech, employers can now monitor every online action of their remote employees. That's not entirely true. Anyway, this article is at The Guardian. It's written by, I think, John Naughton. Thanks to the rapid advance of little tech, employers can now monitor every online action of their remote employees. Sure, if you're using a work computer and everything that it's doing is going through their VPN, or they've got tracking software on the device, right? Which remote asset management stuff is a thing. Yeah, you're going to get people that are going to be tracking you. Your email is already part of the enterprise, so email isn't considered private. You can start fighting that in court, but it's hit or miss about the level of success you'll achieve, and it's expensive. But it says here, nobody then had heard of Zoom and something called video conferencing. He's talking about some other time frame because let's just say, okay, I'm going to read the very beginning of this. Pandemics, as the historian Yuval Noah Harari observed at the beginning of the current one, tend to accelerate history. Okay. If you doubt that, then think back to January 2020. If you told people then that by April that year, major corporations would be insisting that most of their staff work from home. That's a good one. They would have given you funny looks and checked for the nearest exit. Nobody then had heard of Zoom, and something called video conferencing was considered either a geeky affectation or the last resort of organizations that could not afford airfares for senior executives. No. Video conferencing has been around for a tremendous amount of time. It didn't just start with Zoom. Zoom was just one of the most brain dead versions of video conferencing. You could literally mash a button and that URL would open up a page, which would then call for you to allow it to run the application on your desktop, or it was an app. But there have been other video conferencing solutions. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I'm going to have to walk away from this article because it to me, it's not founded in tech reality. It says, and so the swarm of tech companies evolved to service those paranoid suspicions. Thus was born the new industry of little tech. Coworker.org is an admirable American nonprofit organization that builds digital tools and communities for employees to share information, form collectives, and advocate for change. Okay, so it kind of changes direction in this. But yes, if you are an employee and you're using employer provided technology, they have the ability to monitor everything you're doing on the device. And forensically, it doesn't matter. I mean, even if you were to do something horrible on your computer and you get caught, the moment that you're caught, your computer has already been locked out if the business is doing it the right way. Then they acquire your device from you, and then they do a forensic image, and then they know exactly what you've been doing on that computer. If you try to wipe it, there's data recovery options. Then there's culpability. If you wipe your computer, it's almost always interpreted as acknowledgement of guilt. So be careful which hill you choose to climb when you're going to fight something like this. That said, use the work computer for work product and use your personal device for your personal devices. Pretty simple. Okay, I'm going to continue on. The next article is in the Stock Marketeers channel. It's about outside the box. That is the section that this article gets put in on the source's website. In this particular case, it's MarketWatch. They have these kind of snappy names that they put all of their articles in. It's similar to how ohmTown does it with an overarching site, MarketWatch, and then a subordinate area. It says, in the meantime, Peloton needs to find more ways to reduce costs. Now, I've been talking about Peloton. I'm not sure why I might be fixated. I don't think I'm fixated on it, but Peloton kind of rose to fame during the pandemic. And then for some strange reason, shows started targeting Peloton, kind of like a 1-2 punch over a couple weeks, where a couple of shows mentioned Peloton and somebody either dying at on the bike or Then SNL, I think, did a skit on it. Anyway, this is an opinion piece. It's written by Gad Allen, apparently. And it says Peloton never had a moat to protect the business, and that's why it will be sold. So the original article was written at 12:04 p.m. and then on the it was written on the 25th at 8:20 a.m. and then updated at 12:04 p.m. On the 26th. And sometimes MarketWatch kind of changes the title of things. So I wanted to warn you if you ever run across a MarketWatch article, the URL stays the same, but the title may change. So it says here, in fact, it's looking increasingly likely that Peloton will be acquired by a firm that will use it to deepen its own moat because the model is a standalone, seems to have run its course, which is kind of an ironic turn of phrase considering it's a health exercise bike and a treadmill, by the way. So it would have been even more apropos to have a treadmill reference in there. At any rate, it says moats can be intellectual property such as patent, copyright, trademark, anything really that gives it protection. And they talk about this a little bit more, but a moat isn't going to save Peloton. It's something that I've spoken about in previous episodes. Peloton has a finite number of people that it will be able to attract into its ecosystem. And they have to be passionate about their health. They have to be interested in spending $2,000+ on their bike alone, then a subscription service that they have to pay each month. And on top of that, to really benefit from it, they have to regularly use it. So you cannot be a sedentary person. And there are a lot of people who do not want to spend $2,500 on a bike, $40, I think it is, a month on the subscription, and then compete. Are there a lot that will? Yes, absolutely. Will there be a wall that this bike can't climb over? Absolutely. And I suspect that the moment that the pandemic is more accepted as being complete and people will just get their vaccinations and others will not and still suffer the as victims of the virus, but people are going to return to their gyms, or they will have outfitted their homes with home gyms so that they don't have to worry about this. But it's, I can see that Peloton, I see the writing on the wall for Peloton that it will not continue its great amount of growth. And it will dip back down to either hunt down a broader market in foreign countries, other countries, or it will be acquired and subsumed into the processes of somebody else's health offering. But this opinion piece is quite long, and I would encourage you to go over to the MarketWatch article and read it. Again, it's written by Gad Allen, and it's on the marketwatch.com website. Of course, you can always click the link in ohmTown and it'll take you there. The next article is in the Hatch Ideas channel. It's this $3 cut takes a toll. UPS slashes pay for part-time workers as profits grow. This again, it reaches back in time to where I was saying it's really odd that inflation is increasing, cost of living is increasing, products and services, right, are increasing, gas is increasing, everything is increasing except salaries. There are some salaries that are paying quite well. The legal field is seeing some of the big law organizations increasing pay substantially for top talent. So you got to stand out. You have to have good communication skills, unlike what I just did. You have to have good social skills. You have to be able to either know what you're doing or fake it till you make it, or a combination therein. If you don't know something, you can be very adamant that you know how to get the information. That's kind of basic Job Application 101. Pardon me. So it says here, raises implemented at some hubs last year reverted back to original wages as profits grew nearly tenfold in 2021. Thousands of part-time workers at the UPS around the US were recently informed that their hourly wages would be cut, eliminating raises implemented in 2021 at some hubs as a means to attract and retain workers in the tighter labor market. Eliminating raises implemented in 2021 at a time at some hubs as a means to attract and retain. So they raised it and now they're pulling it back. Yet you have record profits. It doesn't make any sense. Why do you have record profits and you're pulling back wages on the people that are doing the job? It's because you're seeking profits, but you're seeking profits in a way that's detrimental to the very people that are making your record profits possible. It's weird. And I'm a business person. I mean, I understand what their goal is. They want more and more profits for stakeholders, for the stock, for the people who have the money to invest in the organization. It's not making the organization any better to claw back $3. So Michael Senato is the author over at The Guardian that wrote this article. And they're the ones that report this news. So what they're reporting is saying, we were told that the raise was permanent. At the end of January, Sanchez said he was informed that his hourly wage and those of every other part-time employee at UPS would revert back to $15.33 an hour. And he claimed the wage cut resulted in many workers quitting. Yeah. But this is how you form unions. When you start doing things where the employees perceive it as abusive, you end up having unions. None of this should have been clawed back. When you get record profits, you compensate the hard work by giving raises, not the other way around. And let's see here. So, no, I have to make sure that this is correct, because I think this is an older article. Base salary of 1.2 million for the CEO. That can't possibly be right. That can't possibly be right. Okay. I'll have to look more into this, but there's typically a huge disparity between CEO and your average, non-C-suite employee. That would be a tremendous equality level, considering what UPS is. But it says the UPS has revealed how much it pays its new CEO, 1.2 million. Interesting. All right. We'll have to revisit this, but when you start clawing back money instead of during record profits, you've got some serious decision problems. But let's continue on. This is going to be my last article. I guess today's going to be a little bit short. I had been working on the site quite a bit, so it was paused for a while in aggregating its news. But it says the iStorage DataSure SD review, secure expandable storage designed to keep your data safe anywhere. This article is saying, ideal for those who need to store lots of data securely, the adaptable DataSure keeps SD cards locked behind military-grade encryption without any fussy companion software. Yeah, that software has to be housed somewhere. Software has to be somewhere. But this is an article that's been aggregated into the Smack Talk channel. Again, if you want to host or co-host a show, of which I'm trying to spin up 50 of them, it would be a 1-hour show on a particular subject. Smack Talk is a show about Apple and its competitors, its products and services that are tied intimately to the Apple ecosystem in some way. You can just reach out, contact me. I'll put you up there in the space above me on the stream. We do it once a week. And at some point, if you want to be the host and not just a co-host, we can discuss that too. But let's click this link and see where it takes us. So it's going to take us over to Amber Neely, who wrote this article for Apple Insider. And it says the DataSure SD is essentially a very fancy SD card reader, but one you might be excited to add to your gear bag. It encrypts micro SD cards to allow you to store a lot of information in a small and secure package. All right. That's pretty neat. But let me tell you, the software is embedded in this. It's the only way it works. You can't encrypt something without software. So it says, if the DataSure SD is stored in its sleeve, iStore claims it is crush proof for up to 2.7 tons and drop proof up to 12 feet. They tested it. It's fine. It says it's also rated IP68, making it capable of being submerged in up to 5 feet of water for 30 minutes. It can also stand up to rust, dirt, sand. Yeah. Sounds good. There's a downside. Only iStorage micro SD cards are compatible with DataSure. Well, there you go. You won't be able to utilize whatever you want as storage. So my 50 or so micro SD cards are not going to be used. Got it. The DataSure SD encrypts micro SD cards using FIPS Pub 197 validated AES. So that right there is the encryption. And if you think that you will ever break AES encryption, yeah, the cold death of the universe is would like to have a word with you. You should just be very careful with your password when it's encrypted with AES. Once you enter the PIN, it'll work like any other flash drive. But until then, you're kind of up a creek without a paddle if you don't have that key. That's me saying that, not them. And they talk about read and write. It's kind of standard for USB SD. And it's kind of proxy. When it adds in a layer of encryption, you're basically going to slow down the operation. So go over to Apple Insider and you can read more about it. The neat little metal USB-C SD device. Let me see out. Sorry for the scrolling. I know it drives some people nuts. But the manufacturer includes a USB-C to USB-A adapter if you need to connect it to USB-A. And it says, though we're not a huge fan. An adapter is an adapter. Everything's switching over to USB-C anyway. It's the smarter decision for every manufacturer. I urge everybody. I actually have a product that I'm working on, and it's right there. Hasn't come to market yet. And it's powered by USB-C, even though I could have gone a different route, a cheaper route. But future-proofing your device with USB-C means it's going to have longer legs. So do the right thing and just stick to USB-C. And the world might have to go kicking and screaming into the USB-C realm. But once you're there, folks, life is a lot easier. Faster charger, more reliable, faster data, smaller footprint. At any rate, just as a reminder, every time you go to ohmTown.com, there should be new news. I am working on it, so sometimes there might be a pause in the flow of news. And I'm working on resolving this cloning issue. There are multiple copies of news articles that are kind of weighing heavy on my on ohmTown, and so I'm trying to eliminate all of the problems. That said, I won't be rolling back anything, so your accounts are safe. The data is there. You might have different discussions at times, but I'll try to fix that before I make any other changes. At any rate, this has been the Daily News Show. Thanks for coming to ohmTown. We will be here tomorrow, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., as we are every day since the beginning of the year. If you like this, if you dig this, and you want more information, then come on back every day. I'm going to try and expand this to more shows that are niche on their particular topics. And I'm not quite sure exactly which show really is going to open up as a second one. But I will reiterate that I am looking for a host or co-host for any of these shows that are at the top of the website. And there's about 50 of them that are publicly accessible. Sometimes I shut them down as I work on a particular channel. So get in touch with me if you are so motivated. You know, I do all of the tech side of things, and you can focus on the subject matter expertise, and we will talk about it. However and whatever, we'll just end up talking about it. So again, I want to thank you for visiting ohmTown. This has been the Daily News Show at ohmTown on Twitch. See you tomorrow.